I am really one of the most fortunate people in the world. Wonderful experiences at Walt Disney World. It's an amazing company, an amazing place to visit, to work at, to be a part of. Working with the Imagineering team, working with the animation team. I've met some of the most talented people in the world. Then to go through the Harry Potter stuff and all the other attractions that I've had great success in my career there as an art director and a different leading teams to build some of the most amazing attractions for the whole world to come enjoy. So when all your dreams come true, what do? You try to find other people help their dreams come true. They say a dreamer who has somebody who believes in them can do amazing things, and I believe that. People believed in me. I'm just the luckiest person in the world. All I can say is don't give up. Believe in your dream. Keep going. Hi everybody, this is Timmy Britt. You may have seen some of the videos of some of the classes and testimonials, but I've never taken the time to actually just reach out one-to-one to the audience and let them know kind of what we're about here. I love finding the artists within other people, cultivating, inspiring, and motivating that. And through that, I've, over the years, have been able to mentor and help and coach and lead teams that have done amazing things. Scenic artists that have done amazing things. Little kids who have used it as a therapeutical way to solve some of life's issues. I've been to schools all over. I've been to community centers, assisted living places, the Ronald McDonald House. I'm a huge fan. If you got to see what they do for people, it's amazing. And in that path and in that journey, I've come across some amazing people. And I always say to people, it's not about the Timmy Britt show. It's about the students, and it's about art, and it's about just being the best that you can be. And you never know what somebody can do, no matter what obstacles they may have. In your community, there might be somebody that is this close to doing something amazing, but they need 5 minutes of your attention, or they just need like a little encouragement, or they just need some help. So today, we're really lucky. I have this great guy. His name's Chris. My first class I had here at the Bella Tre, I had 45 students show up for that class, and it was an amazing class. And I try to spend time one-on-one with everybody, but with a class of 45 people, I got about 5 minutes tops with everybody. With Chris, I looked down at his drawing and I saw that the lines weren't quite right, and then he never came back to my other classes. But his entire family does. And so I pulled him aside one day and I said, hey man, did something go wrong? I don't understand. You seem like you're having a good time. Your work just needs a little bit more practice, a little bit more attention. And I think that you could draw some amazing things. And that's when he said, Timmy, you're really sweet, but the truth is, I'm legally blind and I can't see. And I saw that as a challenge. Chris, could you tell us a little bit about yourself when you started to see that there were issues with your eyesight and what happened?
Visual problems showed up in 3rd grade when they started using overhead projectors, and there was just a white screen in front of me. So I was like, there's nothing up there, and everybody's like, yeah, of course there is. It's all up there. It's all in color, and there was nothing there for me. It was just
so were you scared when that happened?
Yeah. They sent me to an eye doctor, and he couldn't find anything. He gave me a pair of glasses, which were like a placebo. It didn't do anything. I mean, I went back to school, and it was still just a blank screen. I had to go through therapy and stuff like that because they thought that I was making it up. So then I finally got to the University of Chicago to a guy down there. He looked at it and he said, you have a thing called Stargardt's disease.
What's it called?
Stargardt's.
Stargardt's.
Yeah, and it's something I had from birth. But by the time he looked at me, 95% of the damage had already been done. It's like macular degeneration. I went through a hard time with school for a while because they didn't. When they finally figured it out, then they tried to compensate for it. The kids would get regular size sheets of paper, and the teacher would draw something like this on my desk. Everything was blown up to this giant size. But I learned to work with it because I was born with it. I mean, a lot of people don't even notice it right away. You didn't notice it right away.
I didn't.
I don't notice it right away unless they see me trying to read something, or of course I don't drive.
So drawing seems like almost an impossible thing.
Yeah, like you were teaching the class, I couldn't see what was going on. So
you grew up, and didn't you have a nickname?
Rabbit.
It was Rabbit, right.
Yeah.
Six Flags, who has 18 or 19 amusement parks around the country. I would love a chance to work at Six Flags. If I ever get a chance to work for Six Flags, they're going to have the trifecta. It has the rights to some of the Warner Brothers characters, like the Looney Tunes character. And Bugs Bunny is an amazing character. I'd like to just take this opportunity to use Bugs Bunny, since your name was Rabbit. And we'll see if we can't just draw funny Bugs Bunny.
Sounds great to me.
All right. We're going to split this in half, so one half will be my side, one half will be your side. Then I'll sign my half. You sign your half, and you'll get to take this home, just to try to remember this moment.
And then I can fold my half under and just put your half
Ah, no, I want you to be proud of what you do.
Okay.
You're going to work hard. You're going to work harder than most people to accomplish this. Other people have just the everyday gift of sight that we take for granted. Now, I also wear glasses usually when I draw, I left him in the car just to see if I could just maybe suffer a little bit with what you're doing, to just understand how difficult it must be to go through it. So I'm going to do this without my glasses. I can still see pretty good. It's nowhere near as the challenge that you have. In solidarity, I left my glasses in the car. Let's get started. I love that your nickname was Rabbit. I love Six Flags, and I hope that somebody from Six Flags sees this and reaches out to me. I'm not trying to take ownership of your character, but I'm going to use it for a good cause, and I want you guys to have the credit because you guys have supported Bugs Bunny, Tasmanian Devil, Elmer Fudd, Roadrunner, Tweety Bird, Sylvester the Cat, Porky Pig. What an amazing cast of characters you have, and I just wish that we could use them more for situations like this at the Ronald McDonald House and for people in the community that want to do something. So let's get started.
Okay, sounds good.
The light is fading, so we have a lot of obstacles here. All right, so you have your crayon.
Right here.
All right, so you see your side of the paper? Can you see this
Yes,
from
got
here
it
to the
right
purple
here.
line? First thing we're gonna do is let's just draw a circle, like about the size of an orange, somewhere in the center of the page. Now, I'll draw a little darker so you can see it, but just find your way around. Perfect. That's great. That's fantastic.
Okay.
Now, his head is turned 3/4. It's a 3/4 position. So we're going to just draw a guideline down the center of the circle, but 3/4 of the way over. So I've split it like,
Okay.
can you see it? So if you were to come over 1/4, 2/4, somewhere around there. Let's see how
So-
you do.
A curved line?
A curved line, yeah. Because as the head turns, like think of the Earth as a globe.
Right.
That line would be straight if you came down the middle, but as you turn it, it would bend with the curvature of a globe.
Okay.
That's all we've done.
Okay.
Now we have to find the middle horizontally, so I'm just going to draw, and it can be bent as well, a horizontal line kind of like that. Very good. Now, I'm going to ask you, if you can, to try to draw a little lighter,
Oh, okay.
only because these are just guidelines, and I don't want them to show through the finished drawing, but we'll go over with magic marker later. But if you can draw, do you need to draw that dark to see it at all?
I could draw later.
Just less pressure.
Okay.
Because now we're going to go to the center of the drawing, and right here I just want you to draw a little bump. Now, I'm going to draw dark so you can see it, but just make that bump right where the intersection is if you can.
Here?
Yep. I knew you could do this. Now from there, I want you to turn it into like a guitar pick. And that's going to be Bugs Bunny's nose, right there, just like that. Very good.
All right.
Underneath his nose, I want you to make what would be kind of like a W, but very rounded. I want to make this part and this part, just like that. That's that little muzzle part under his nose. You see how it's like a really curved W, kind of?
Like a mustache.
Kind of, yeah, exactly like a mustache. Very good.
There you go.
Now from there, we're going to put his teeth. We'll get his teeth right on the picture. If you make the shape of like a vase, a line down, a line over, there's like that vase shape. Real simple, it's just one line down. Very good. Coming off of his mustache, which is really like his...
The ends of the mustache?
Not the ends, somewhere in the middle. If you were to go in the middle, yeah, you're pretty close right there, yeah. Very good. I'm so impressed with you right now. Chris, I thought you were my hero before, but man,
There you go.
it takes a lot of courage to do what you're doing, to show the world some of your vulnerabilities, but still try. And that's what I just want the audience to say out there, just try. Then we want to separate the two to give them two buck teeth, so you want to put a line right from the center of your mustache down a little bit, right there. Now, I've never really drawn Bugs Bunny before, so we're doing this
Okay.
together for the first time.
All right.
All right. From the left side of what you're calling the mustache, which is a great, it's kind of like a bean shape, or from the side it'd be like a number 3, but we'll just call it his mustache.
Right.
From here, I just want to draw a line that comes over. Now, I'm almost at the end of my circle with it, but I didn't go all the way to the circle. So you would come over to here, and that's going to be like the part of his mouth that's open, because we're going to have fun with Bugs. I love Bugs Bunny.
There?
That's perfect.
All right, cool.
From there, I want you to come down, and we're going to go just below the circle a little bit, and we're just going to come to like there, just like that. See, I've come just below the circle, my original guide circle. Perfect. Chris, you're doing great.
All right.
Now, inside this line, which is his mouth, is what we're doing, I want you to just give me like a candy cane shape. It's just a bent line that comes down to about there. See, it's just like the shape of a rounded 7.
So right here?
Yep, that's perfect. You're right on the money, man. A little further, because it's going to come down. That's just going to be his tongue hanging out of his mouth.
That's what I like about your classes. I love watching my kids drawing shapes and stuff, and then you do some sort of a line, and all of a sudden it all falls together.
Yeah. Well, part of that is if you start at the center of something and work your way out,
Yeah.
the symmetry stays in line. It's spatial relationships. I get from this item or this object to that object. And the relationship between the two is the spatial relationship. It's the space between objects. So if I start in the center and work my way out, little by little, we're just building things. So let's go back. Now I'm going to do that same shape, but just a little lower. But watch, it gets tricky. We're going to come down, and his tongue is bent, and it goes right back into his mouth. Now you see the tongue.
Okay.
So I started, remember where I started? I came from that first little line, I came down.
All right.
So you'll come down to here.
Here?
Yes, sir.
And then I'm going down here.
You're going to just contour along this shape, right along, and then go a little and just make the tongue and come back up.
How far?
And then come back up to meet your line that's at the bottom of the mouth. And now you have his tongue hanging out of his mouth. He did it. That's fantastic.
Cool.
That might be one of the hardest parts of the drawing, really. That was great.
Okay, I didn't know I was drawing a tongue. Now it looks like a tongue.
Yeah,
okay,
you're getting
cool.
there. We got it. Now, from the tooth to the tongue, let's just create the other side of the inside of his mouth. Remember when you said something, you just put one line that comes together? Well, there you go. His teeth are in the front. If you look back, you see the back of the other side of his mouth.
Okay.
So you just want to put a line from the teeth to the tongue so it shows the other side of his mouth.
From here?
Yes, sir. Perfect. Just like that. Now you've already made a nose, the muzzle, the teeth, his mouth, and the tongue. You're kicking butt here, dude. You're crushing it.
That's awesome.
All right. We'll put the whiskers on last because they're going to be really sharp lines that are kind of... So I don't want to confuse them with the rest of the drawing, but we will put whiskers on them.
Okay.
Down here, I want to put a chin where the tongue... Like, because his mouth is open, there's a little bit of his lower lip and his chin, so I'm just going to put a little line there. One tiny little line right there. It needs to be back up to the circle.
Yep.
So you can start at the circle and come down, or start at the tongue and go up. Yes, it doesn't matter how you get there, just that you get there.
Okay.
And you've gotten there. Now, I'm going to take the top of his nose, and we're going to go outside the circle with just a line like this, and then just a real sharp point like that. So all I did was I came across from his nose, go back to your nose, and your horizontal guideline, kind of use that as a guide to get you outside the circle, and then real quick with like a check mark, come back in. Very good. Now, I'm just going to make one more check mark, but I'm going to work my way down so I get the round part of the fluffy cheeks. Yeah. So you have a check mark there. You want to make one more, just like mine, if you can see it. And if you can't say, it's okay to let the audience know. That's great.
Okay.
Now from there, we're going to connect underneath here. So sometimes if I know where I'm going to end up, and I know where I'm going to start, I make myself what's called a little tick mark. You may not be able to see that, but I'm seeing that for the audience. So then I'm just going to come down and finish up my tick mark, and there I have the side of his face.
Okay. So I'm starting here.
Right, and you're going to come down somewhere where that lower lip was that you made behind his tongue. So that now we have a little bit of depth. The lower lip comes out, and the cheek is there. Now, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. But we see more of this side because we turned his head 3/4.
Okay.
So this side we see more of his cheek. On this side, the line that comes from the top of his mustache right next to his nose won't be quite as long. It's only going to be like that long. And then we make the check mark at the end. Right. So there. And use your horizontal guideline to get outside the circle. And you did it. Now, again, we're going to work our way down because it's really just his fuzzy fur. I call them check marks so that you understand it's like a little V shape. Right. But all we're doing, I'm going to make one more on this side. I like to have it not even number. So there's 3 and 2 makes 5. You try to work in odd numbers in composition. The human mind, when it sees like even things, it goes right to the left side of the brain. But if you have odd numbers, for some reason, odd shapes, and we work in small, medium, and large in composition usually, and odd numbers. It's the way the mind sees things in a more creative way for some reason. The brain kicks over to the right side of the brain when it doesn't see, like there's no symmetry in 3 and 2. They don't add up.
Right.
So the right side of the brain kicks in, and now your imagination says, oh, so it's a little fuzzier on that side than it is on this side, and that's okay.
Okay.
So now we're going to come from there, just like we did here. We're going to come down there. We're going to go a little lower than here. We're going to come, so I make myself a little tick mark, and I just check my reference real quick, look at my drawing, and there we go. So now you just complete from there to the tongue, and now we're done the lower hair for the drawing.
You want maybe lower than this side, right?
A little bit lower, not much. The fact that you can even gauge that is amazing. That's perfect. Honestly, I'm so impressed with you. All right. Now, like a surfboard, if you stuck it into the sand, or the shape of a thumb, that oblong look. We're going to build his eye, but let's build the big one first. So coming off of his nose a little bit, we're going to move down from his nose to about here, which it's not an arbitrary, I'm just looking at the distance between his eyes. I'm going to just go up and then come back down. And that is the shape of one eye. I'm doing as dark as I can so that you can see it. For the audience sake, I'm going to shade in his mouth.
So where am I starting with?
So if this is the nose,
yeah.
You want to come over his cheek a little bit, about a 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And then from there, go up, and don't mind the circle, your guide circle, just make that shape. That's fantastic. Great job. Now we'll put in his pupil. He's going to be looking, he's sticking out his tongue, and he's looking at the person he's sticking out his tongue at. So go ahead and put in, it's like the size and shape of a peanut M&M, right in this corner of his eye. You can do this, Chris, I believe in you, man. You're doing amazing. That's fantastic.
All right.
You're killing it, Rabbit. You're killing it. All right, I'm just going to color this in so people at home can just see, some of the depth. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. Now this eye, we're going to move over to about the same place. We're going to kind of head towards that eye. I know that sounds a little confusing. It's sometimes, that's I think why I can draw. Because communication is tough, but if I can just draw it, people will get it. And that eye, we're going to put right here. And so now, I'm going to finish so I can focus on you. Color in his eye, first of all. If you can color in that peanut M&M, if you can see it. Just kind of shade it in a little bit. Because it looked too much like a zombie. There you go. Yeah. Now, right next to the nose, because remember his head is turned 3/4. Like we have a little distance here, but here it's really closer, just because his head is turned. So right where you're at, just make the same tombstone shape or thumb shape, yeah. And just if you don't mind, connect that down there. Connect that line to that line.
This line?
Yeah, the bottom of his eye. Yeah, bring it all the way down. Stop. Perfect. Because we have to put his pupil in right there, and I don't want there to be a hole. So then again with the peanut M&M, we'll
on
make
this side?
Yes, sir. No, on this side, the inner part of his eye. Okay. He would look cross-eyed if you did that at the portrait view, but because it's 3/4, it makes sense that he's sticking his head out.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Now above this eye, I just want you to give me a little candy cane curl, just like that. What that is that's the muscle above his eye. It seats his eye in his head, but gives that fur a chance to be above it. So I just went to his eye and I made this little hook and then just stopped.
Here?
Yes, sir. And just go up and over the eye a little bit with a little hook.
Over the circle?
Like this. See the eye here?
But out of the circle is what you're saying.
Well, our circles may vary.
Okay.
Just try to keep it up. Yes. Perfect. Now, we're going to do the same thing on the other eye, but we're going to just kind of contour above the same shape at the top of the eye. We do that same shape here to accentuate that shape. We're going to bring the eyebrow over the eye and kind of sell it a little bit more.
So from here?
So, no, but off of it. Like come off of the eye and just, yes, like the golden arches, like the Ronald McDonald House. You'd have, just make one of the arches above the eye because that's what it is. It's like an eyebrow. Perfect.
All right.
There you go. Sometimes it's easier just to do it than to say it. All right, we're really coming in on it now. So what we're going to do is, from this eyebrow, I want you to just go up to here so it's as high as the other eyebrow. For you, you're a little lower than mine, so just come up to about here. Just a little line. We're just making the top of his head is all we're doing. Okay. You remember the little hook that you made above his eye?
Yeah.
From there, you want to build the top of his head, so you just want to make like his forehead, which is just a little 1.5 inch line. That's all. So now, we're going to go to his cheek here. His cheek that we did on the left side over here.
Okay.
And we're going to pick a spot that leaves a little bit of his cheek sticking out, maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. And we're just going to go up till we meet his eyebrow. So that's just another bent line right there. We're going to form the sides of his head.
So from about here, somewhere over here to about up here?
Exactly. I love that you measured it out, you thought about it, you have a stopping and starting point, and you're all set. Now, from here, now I'm going to probably bleed off my page. You might have to too, because we never force things to fit, but he's got those big great ears.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, Bunny Rabbit, Bugs, Bugs. He can't hear me, Chris. How come?
No, he's got no ears.
No, because he's just a drawing.
Oh, okay.
I do that to everybody. I'm so sorry. It's just silliness. Okay. Well, if we're not having fun, what are we doing? Yeah. If you think of a candle flame, how it's like kind of fat and then tapers to a little bit of a point, that's really all his ears are. And we're using that beautiful S curve. In animation, so many S curves take place. So all I've done was I went in one direction, then back in the other. Just like the letter S has 2 curves in one, so does this line.
Okay.
So you're going to go from here, you're going to go out fat, come back in, and go to the top of the page. You might even be able to fit it all in. I don't know. It depends on how you do. Out, back in. Man, you were born for this. You're a natural. Yeah, that's actually the right height for the top of his ear, so you could complete it.
Okay.
But let's do the other side of that. We're just going to see, because that went out, this one's going to go in, come back out, and then meet it at a point. So again, another S curve. It complements this one, building the outside shape of his ear. So you want to just kind of come in a little bit, then go out and meet it.
Can I use this guideline?
Yes, you can. You know you're at the center there because that's what we did. Very good. And then just don't touch it yet. You want them to meet up here, not here. So keep it up till it meets. And beautiful.
All right.
Oh, Chris, I'm so proud. Inside that ear is the pink part, the inside of his ear. So we're going to go ahead and just make a smaller version of that candle flame from there to there.
Okay.
Think of it as like a very slim teardrop, maybe. Perfect. Now, before we get to the other part here, I want to make a little bit of fur, like he's got a little bit of fur the top he's got, so remember those little check marks? We're just going to put them there like that. So between the ears, he's got a little fur. So just make these little V shapes. Okay?
Okay.
And then real quick, we're just going to put in the other ear. So again, with the S curve, from on top of this fuzzy part.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect. And then right about there. Then we just build the outside of it, and we come around like that. Just the other side of his ear. Then we do the inside, the pink part of his ear, which is really just another contour shape. It's the same shape, but we contour the lines. And then the fun part. 1, 2, 3 whiskers from the one side of the mustache, and just let the crayon do the work. Just
From over here?
Yes, sir. 1, 2, 3. Very good. 1, 2, 3. Very good. We're just about out of time. Now, the most important part. My name's Timmy Britt. I'm going to sign my work. I dot my I's with the year I do the work.
Okay.
And Chris, if you would sign this, it's been a real honor. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim.
Now, I want the world to see what you've done. This is, what would you say your percentage of sight is?
Very poor. I'm 2,300 in one eye and 2,400.
So could you say you have 10, 15% vision?
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, 10, 15%.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Wow, that's awesome.
it is awesome.
Thank you.
No, thank you,
That
Chris.
was a lot of fun.
And I just wanted the world to see that if somebody cares about someone and they just take 5 minutes of their time and help someone, it's amazing things. To have a guy with 10% vision draw Bugs Bunny when your nickname is Rabbit. I hope the people at Six Flags see this and see how much joy that their characters can create. Mine isn't perfect. There should be another little line here. It's okay. But you can show this to anyone in the world and they know that that's Bugs Bunny. So you guys out there that watch, I hope you enjoy. Reach down deep inside yourself, find somebody that you can help. Believe it or not, one person at a time, you can change the world. Through art, through science, through medicine. Just keep your imagination, keep practicing, and draw with your heart. Draw light, dream big, and thanks for spending some time with us. I'm Timmy Britt. Have a great night.